traveler.
Change your mind.
You require my assistance? We're gonna be rich. Require my assistance? Who am I?
Let me change your mind.
Welcome to the end.
You asked for it. Whoops.
soul shall suffer.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Hearthcenter. I am not Dr. Lotus Knight, but I am Dr. Fish, and I will be your host for this evening on this special edition of Hearthcenter. I will be joined by usual Tuesday night Hearthcenter host, and that would be Geranium Battle. Hello, how are you doing?
End, and this one had maybe one of the most exciting endings of all. So I am ready to question them, to grill them on some things.
Awesome. Yeah, so as you guys see, we have the Pro Series Season 10 champs with us. We have Coney Island Clown Club. I'll start with their captain, who also happens to be a Hearthcenter usual regular. We have Neji Boston. Neji, it must be good to be back on the other side of the interview once again.
Yeah, happy to win in Pro Series again. We won last season, but this one was a bit closer. I was saying, I think, on the winner's interview, like the really short one we did after the stream the other day, that every finals in the past, like 5 seasons, came down to like just 3 matches and it was over. So it was nice to get them all at once and then also go to 5 games. Made it more exciting.
Yeah, for sure. And especially the way that that you all formatted it with your scheduling your matches, it was all very bang bang bang, like 5 matches within 2 hours essentially. Yeah, I guess if you want to go ahead and kind of introduce and talk about some of the players that you got on your team who won.
Yeah, I mean, we got Lambie, Izot, Justin, and Agawel here. I'm sure they can introduce themselves here briefly.
Of course.
Anybody can go ahead.
What's up, guys? It's me again.
You were here last night.
Not on the side of a red this time. Cool. Is my audio better or worse?
It's good.
Okay.
Hello guys, it's Izat here.
Hey
And
guys, yo, alright, I'll go first.
Oh,
Lemby
go ahead, Lemmy.
Yeah, Lemby series here. You might know me from Grandmasters. Also, my first time winning THL. Feels good.
And yeah, I'm Ego. You might know me from Grandmasters or Washed Up Streamer, but it was again first time winning THL as well. Can take partial credit because I'm a sub. So.
Of course, Ego came in and subbed for Nails partway through the season. And you proceeded to not lose a match. So, there you go.
All luck.
Clearly. But
Just a little bit of talent, yeah.
A little bit of talent, yeah. I would say that I would consider this like definitely one of the most talented rosters I've seen put together in THL. Whether it's obviously in Ego's case having to sub in, but like just on paper, this team looked insane and did not disappoint and took home the title. But they had some pretty stiff competition. I don't know, Geranium, if you want to go questions or if you want the players to like briefly go over the match, just do a quick summary and then go into that. Just kind of.
Yeah, I think that so all of the matches happened at around the same time. So it might be good to sort of unravel the different things that were going on during that. So if each player wants to cover their own match, that would be great.
Sure. Mine was very quick. Ron switched up his lineup for the first time and predicted what I was going to bring, which was a counter to his Relic DH and his Curse Warlock that he had brought pretty much every week. And he definitely hit the money and drew fairly well in the matches too. So I wasn't too surprised by the result, but yeah, that one was over pretty fast, 3-0.
Yeah, so okay, so mine was I was versus Banterface. He's a good player, so I knew it was gonna be difficult, but I was confident going into the match because he was going with a target pre strategy, and I think if you target pre, it's a mistake. I think my team has heard me say that like 10,000 times, but
Yeah.
the problem is I brought Hunter, which was a bit too fair, so it kind of got swept. Like I won with the decks that I was confident with, and then the Hunter was like a last minute addition, which in theory was okay, but it was too fair to be good post nerf. So yeah, I lost not super convincingly, but it was 1-3. So yeah, a bit disappointed, but I mean the whole team won in the end, so not that bad after all. All right, I'm done.
I think Ego was up next.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
go. Yeah, so for my matchup, I mean, my strategy was just to bring decks I'm comfortable with. Checking at previous lineups, looks like based was 50-50 whether she would copy Banner or do her own thing. Ended up doing her own thing. My Spooky Mage and Control Shaman both had really tough matchups. Not bad, like as in 30%, but they were all semi-unfavorables. But fortunately for me, I queued correctly. Won a. I mean, obviously my priest was banned, so won a quick curse and block game with probably the most insane opener I've ever had with the deck. Just getting double flame imp, the location, tradables, all the nuts. So that game was quick. Unfortunately for base, game 2, she had the upper hand, but ended up misclicking, which I learned after the fact, which made her miss lethal. Really unfortunate. It was a really tight game. But the third game was the Spooky Mage versus DH. So I played 2 games against. Actually, I played all 3 games against DH. So DH got swept, and then my mage just out tempoed her Felic. And yeah,
Mhm.
Felic, in my opinion, fake deck. So didn't bring it any games. So very glad about that.
The 3 players who brought Relic DH all lost in the finals, and everyone who
Coincidence?
didn't bring it won. Well, not everybody, but close.
On our team, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just brought some decks that I wanted to play. It was like soft target paladin strategy-ish, but it was more just decks I wanted to play. Lowe's didn't bring paladin, so it was pretty like even-ish on paper, but I drew Vandar in Vandar Rogue, which was definitely my worst deck, and then that got through, and then he had a pretty unfortunate draw as Druid, where he just wasn't able to push out any pressure as against Boar Priest. He drew like literally all the defensive tools. He was holding like double spammy, double Earth and Scale or something. Like not the cards you want to see in that matchup. Won that one as well, and then lost the ramp Druid against Zoo to a strong Zoo hand, but then had the double ramp into Topiary on curve as Druid into Ping Mage, and that was only gonna end one way.
Yeah. So my prep was I was mainly helping Zochi and Tonsoku preparing for fall seasonals. From that I noticed that Naga Priest and Miracle Rogue was just quite like strong decks, and I'm comfortable playing it. So those 2 are the locks. Then I was thinking like, what are the other 2 to round up? Just decided that Ping Mage, 30 Ping Mage, and Curse Lock is just the good decks. And in seasonal, I think only Xiaobai was the one that brought it. Can't remember what he plays though. So yeah, I think lineup wise, going into our heads lineup, I think it looked okay, but except for the mage. Mage was the one that could easily go O3 for me. So the first 2 match, I killed my favorables. Yeah, he killed Druid, so I won both. And the third one, the Druid one versus the Mage, which yeah, the one was expected. And I think the fourth match versus Head was definitely the important one. I think that my turn 3 was the most important turn for the game. because I had a Viper in hand, and I checked his list. He doesn't have a weapon, so that made my turn very very easy. And just tempo the Viper, and it like chipped a lot of damage for like the little at the end. Like probably did like 9 or 12 damage overall. So yeah, I think that was the key turn for me to winning the game and also the series for us.
Yeah, sweet. Izzat was the last match as well. All of us went at the exact same time, and then Izzat and Hat were the feature match at the end to decide it all, and Izzat got the upper hand, which was great to see.
Yeah, and for those who haven't seen the VOD, it's up. It's probably still up on the Twitch page at this point. It was a Sunday Showdown stream. It was just pretty much every single match being showed in some capacity. Others just kind of switching through what was getting featured for the matches. It was pretty great. And then Hats in Izzat's match was the only match shown on the screen at that point. But you should go ahead and go and watch that, and you can definitely give some feedback for it. That'd be great to see how we can improve that something like that in the future. But back to our interview, I guess we do have questions to go through. I don't think this is going to be a super long stream, a super long set of questions. And if anyone in the audience does have questions, like, you can drop them in chat, or you can send them to me or Geranium in Discord, and we'll get them up on the screen. We'll get them up at least mentioned.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start with a very quick one. When I first looked at everyone's lineups, I thought to myself, okay, the longest match that's going to happen here is going to be Lambie versus McBannerface. Did you guys also think that that was going to be the last one in the simultaneous matches?
I think since it's my match, I'll just give them some comments first. So yeah, I did I did expect that one to go quite long because he was trying to soft target Priest, which ended up we both banned what exactly we thought the other person's gonna ban. So everything went according to plan, which meant he was like a little bit favored. But it was supposed to be a long, drawn out, grindy kind of a match for sure. But like I said, I think a bit earlier that my hunter fell a bit short, so it got swept pretty fast. I didn't expect it to get swept 3 times. As I expected it to be like we would like maybe go to a 3-2 kind of thing, then someone would win. Yeah, I didn't expect to. Even if I won, I didn't expect to win 3-0. So the fact that it ended 1-3 against me was a bit surprising. I do think that maybe if I drew a bit better, I could have like made it last a bit longer. Not sure if I would win, but it would have probably gone the distance. Yeah. I don't know what the rest of my team would think about how my match would have gone, but yeah.
I mean, just from the lineups, I would guess that one would go the longest, but I mean, it's Hearthstone. Doesn't always happen that way. So you never really know.
I don't think I even looked at the deck list or thought about that.
Yeah, the only time I thought it... Oh, go ahead.
Justin was looking at Venda the whole time, trying to hope he draws it. That's basically it.
Yeah.
The only time I saw it was after I finished my game and was watching, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's gonna play Test the 5th time this game. This might last a little bit longer.
Oh, Lord. Benta actually missed lethal in that particular game, but he still won because he played Test for like 10 times, I think. Maybe 5.
Oh yeah, I remember that miss lethal.
Getting Drake Fire Amulet.
That was so sad. It was such a sick lethal too.
Yeah.
Drake Fire Amulet randomly generating Alexstrasza to step back for exact lethal.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's advanced PM.
Yeah, it is. It's a GM thing. He didn't get to play me in GM, so he's doing it right now. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it about my match, basically.
I think it's enough questions about the finals there. I know we have a lot of other questions. Right. Fish, do you want to start with one, or should I?
Sure. Well, I'll do the team question, and then we can go to individual people. what do you think as a team was like the biggest? Let's just kind of try this and hope it works. Moment, whether that was a week where you guys were just like, let's just send these decks, these lineups, and see how it goes, type of thing. Or, I guess that would
Wait, sorry,
I didn't get a question there actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wait, what was the question?
Yeah, what was it again? I didn't get the question.
So
was it just about our prep?
No, it's like, what was the biggest let's try this and hope it works moment of the season?
Oh, okay.
Kind of like just sending. I don't know why my mic didn't pick it up very well, but yeah, that was the question.
It's all good. Okay, nothing that I can really think of in particular. Did anybody bring any? I mean, I would say Izat was probably the one who brought the most sus decks.
Every time I brought Warrior, basically.
Okay, so I have something to add to that as well. So I think on week 2 or week 3, okay, so I think my overall score was 5-3. 2 of it was okay, no, one of it was like a super legit loss. One was like I didn't submit. Okay, that was my fault. But the other loss, one of the third supposed loss, was because I'm not saying that my opponent couldn't beat me, but I was very confident if I didn't bring Enraged Warrior. I brought Enraged Warrior like 5 weeks ago. Yeah, I brought Enraged Warrior like 5 weeks ago. I mean, I think I had like 5 game sample size on ladder and it was 5-0. I was like, okay, this is the nuts into any aggro deck. But I mean, in the current patch, it's not even that great. Previously, it was way worse. And I just like okay, just Hail Mary this into THL, and then I got destroyed on Enraged Warrior. like mega destroyed. Like the rest of my decks were good, and I had an Enraged Warrior that like if you look at the list that I brought, you would see I brought like good decks, good decks, good decks, good decks. And then there was that 1 week there was this like Warrior. Oh my god, that was a mistake. That was like the biggest mistake of like this season for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it's the opposite. Like I mentioned, I brought Warrior twice, and one is Control Warrior, another is Charge Warrior, and both did well for me against my opponent. So yeah, I think every time Neji looked at it, probably has something to say about it. But
I was
yeah,
not
it worked
convinced
out
on
again.
Warrior, but you know, if anybody was going to bring Control Warrior on the team, it would be you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've like known Izat for like out of everyone here, I've known Izat for like years, right? And then like he since the first day one I knew him, right? Like in Lens and whatever, he's been bringing the most epic stuff ever. Like since I've ever known him, like the most like off the wall stuff. So that's really his like his thing, you know. He always brings special stuff to the
Watch
table.
posts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally converted like half of our practice group to that. Okay, maybe not half, but a third of our practice group to that watch post meta thing.
Yeah, I would say for me the most sus deck I brought was Quest Priest, and I brought it 3 times, and I realized the deck is completely awful.
Oh.
So I'm not bringing that one again.
Oh.
I realized going into finals that I'd somehow brought Control Shaman every single week of the season, despite like not really liking the deck. It wasn't that I like didn't like it. It just I wasn't looking at my own history. I just happened to say it every single week. It's like my deck 4 because it was just kind of innocuous. I'm like,
well, yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just realizing the same thing. I think I brought it every single week as well, and I didn't even realize until now.
Yeah.
It's just an overall good deck. It's just a pretty good deck. Fit a lot of 50-50s. I think probably my worst deck I brought was Paladin the week it was changed. Or week Order and the Court was added. We had an extra week. This is the first week of subbing. I'm like, you know what? This looks fun. I just put it in the lineup last second, and then it got banned. So I'm very happy about that. Didn't bring it the next 2 weeks, so I didn't have enough games on it. But for not even for me, but I was just most concerned looking at Justin's lineup and looking at Vandar Rogue. And I'm like, and then just talking about putting Vipers in Vandar Rogue, and I'm like, this is interesting for sure. This is very interesting. So it worked out though.
You just draw Vandar. What's the issue?
True.
Yeah.
Just draw it.
Oh yeah, I have an interesting. I wouldn't even say it's a question, but I'm like quite sure that this whole THL season, am I the only one that has like brought Mind Rogue at all? Like, cause I've never seen anyone else ever bring Mind Rogue this season.
There was.
Yeah, there
was one guy.
I know one of my hero players brought it at some point.
In pro?
No, not in pro. They brought it to Hero Series, but
Right, yeah.
I don't know about pro.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah, like
through
I'm the
right
only
now.
one that
I'm
brought it
not
in pro,
seeing
I
it.
think, for like 4 weeks or 3 weeks, and like I don't know, it's just my pet deck. Like I think the overall win rate of the deck is also like I think almost 100%. So it's just one of the decks that I'm really quite proud of at this point in time.
Nice. Yeah, it's a pretty fun deck once you get the hang of it.
It looks like Andrew Kimgun brought Mine Rogue in EU Pro.
Right.
Mott did as well.
Right. Right.
EU Pro brings some funky stuff. I know we're gonna have a question concerning EU Pro in a little bit.
Oh, I found one. Rice Bowl brought Mine Rogue to pro.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a Rice Bowl thing.
It's the nuts deck. It's just the best thing ever when you high roll the smoke.
Yeah.
Lasagna brought Mine Rogue and DQ'd his opponent, so that works.
It's still a
Blew
win.
up their internet.
Still a win for Mine Rogue.
He was just too scared. He didn't want to play against it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's ask a specific question.
Sure.
Because Izat, we just mentioned Pro EU, Izat, and now that you've played in both and you've actually won in both, what do you feel are the biggest differences between the two?
Regressive, I mean, EU is. I mean, I mentioned this last season as well. EU is slightly a bit harder, and I mean, I didn't win this season, so because like the teams are overall very like all the seats are like really really good players, and it's hard to get probably to get an edge in lineups as well. But yeah, I think I guess most of them also have like experience with like tournaments and stuff, so they are I guess very high ranked players as well. Lasagna, Steam, Foodov, those kind of players. Yeah, they're really good. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
I think that'll be what I'll say. The general level is just overall a bit better and harder like to play in.
Okay, Pro is baby mode, understood?
Damn. All right. So I guess moving on, we'll ask Ego, was there a bit of a culture shock at all being gone from THL for quite a while and then coming back this season to sub?
I mean, it's much easier after playing in GM to play in THL because it's like the matches in GM are way more stressful. Now, but that being said, I think we had the advantage because we had 2 former GMs versus 1 on their team, Banner. So yeah, but not having played for it probably 2 years, I would say. It's definitely different seeing all of the names, just knowing everyone on the other team. It's definitely good to have the prep under the bag, though.
Yeah,
a lot less
for sure.
stress. Yeah, and a lot less of trying to counter because these players are pretty good. Like when I first started playing THL, barely any teams were countering, so it was very easy to snipe a deck or two, just bring some wacky stuff. But yeah, my mentality shifted, especially when playing against good players, to just bring what you're comfortable with, outplay your opponent. That's about it.
Okay. For Lambie series, I'm actually going to ask a non-Hearthstone question because I saw you were once a Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds competitor. Do you have any fond memories from back then?
So it's quite interesting. Like I mentioned this on my stream a lot. Twitch.tv/Lambi Series TV. Anyway, yeah, I say that I mentioned this on my stream quite a bit. But if I had a choice to like go pro in Yu-Gi-Oh or Hearthstone, I would definitely choose Yu-Gi-Oh because like it's funny, right? Like okay, so I'm a GM. I was a GM in Hearthstone, but like when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh, I think I was a better Yu-Gi-Oh player than I am a Hearthstone player. Because I think a lot of my skill set is better utilized when I was playing live card games. Like I was better playing live, like looking at my opponent, reading their reactions and stuff like that. So that's what you can do in a live card game, right? So I was really good back then because when we were playing live, I usually got the right reads based on what my opponent did. Um, like in person. So yeah, if I had a
Oh
choice, I would
yeah.
definitely. And I'll yeah. Plus, I also really enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh. Right, it's like my entire childhood. I started when I was 10 years old. I quit when I was 13. I came back when I was 18, and I went to Worlds when I was 19. So like, it's really a journey in my entire life. It's been like shaped by Yu-Gi-Oh into other card games, and then Hearthstone, of course, is also a card game. But I mean, sadly, the sad thing about Yu-Gi-Oh is that when it comes to monetization, it's a lot less
Yeah.
prominent and possible, like just based on the nature of like the the company that makes Yu-Gi-Oh. Right? They're not big on like a pro career kind of thing. So I didn't have that option. But yeah, I do miss playing Yu-Gi-Oh a bit, and I do play from time to time casually. I do keep myself updated, but as a long term thing, I guess Hearthstone is a bit more sufficient, sustainable. But yeah, like if you guys want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, I'm down anytime, especially stuff like from the previous metas, like 10 years ago kind of stuff. I can talk to you about that for like hours. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
my story.
awesome.
Okay. I mean, I was not competitive, but I will definitely take you up on that.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I know that Itachi also
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like highly competitive
Itachi's
back then too.
been
So
Itachi loves Yu-Gi-Oh as a
Yeah.
competitor. He played a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a lot of Hearthstone pro players now that actually converted from Yu-Gi-Oh. Like one very famous one that most of us know is RDU. RDU was
Yeah.
a like a national champion or something, I think. There's this also an EU guy called Vince, Vinz, I think. He used to be a Yu-Gi-Oh champion as well, or something like that. So yeah, many people converted to Hearthstone as like the natural next step into like competitive card games, you know. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah. All right, let's see what else we have. So, yeah, I guess for Justin, retiring from competitive Hearthstone and having to split your attention across 3 different playoffs, which series did you find kind of the hardest to prep for?
This season?
I would guess
Um,
this season, yeah.
isn't any? You could say in general, or you could say this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Legacy I think is the one that requires the most prep because you gotta be paranoid about, like, your opponent bringing absolutely terrible decks and techs just to hard target one of your brings. Where Hero, you have to worry about that a little bit because there's less targeting, and LHS is just not quite as big of a concern to facing a 8x Viper 16x Watch Post lineup.
Yeah.
And yeah, Pro doesn't really take much prep. You kind of just submit a list that you want and then hopefully be good on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's definitely Legacy.
Okay. Now on to Neji. Neji, which has
Yo.
better food, Boston or Vancouver?
That's a good one, actually. I will say, honestly, I like the food here. I haven't eaten that much in Boston. I've only been back twice, but I like the food here a lot in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
I would say,
As a
just from what I've
Vancouver
had. Yeah, I live in Victoria, which is close to Vancouver, but basically same.
No, you live on Vancouver Island. You live in Vancouver.
This is true. Yeah, I don't know. I like the food here. I'm sure Boston food's good too. I just haven't had as much of it, obviously.
I'm sure Geranium's biased towards Boston in this situation.
I mean, if I heard what Vancouver food was good, maybe I'd switch.
No,
but
maybe, yeah.
if only there was someone who lived in Vancouver and liked
even is
Vancouver food
Vancouver
more.
food?
Couldn't be Diamond.
Like, what actually is Vancouver food?
What is it? I don't know. It's just like Regular
Poutine.
food tastes good to me.
I
There's
think of
actually
it
like no
seafood. I
poutine.
think of it like pretty similar to Boston, just fish instead of clam chowder.
Yeah, like I can't imagine it's that different. Yeah, there's a lot of fish. Like salmon's pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm sure they're both good.
All right. I guess right now we only have one other question, and I would suppose this also goes to Neji. It says, now that you've won your third pro finals, the first and being the first team to win pro championships in a row, do you feel like you've learned how to prep and play in pro better than when you were struggling to make the finals?
I don't know if that much has changed with the prep. I'd say I know how to build better teams now and just ask the OP people to join. And that usually goes pretty well.
Yeah.
Proved since like the first season I was in THL. You
Yeah.
realize, I think Ego was saying this earlier, less hard countering and more just bring good decks. Like you can soft target things, but bringing really sus lineups to like try and hard counter something and then missing and then losing to a player that you feel was not meant to win the match is not really the way to go in my opinion. Just bring good decks, play them well.
I don't think there's quite as many good teams in pros there used to be. Like, there's no more Hype Horizon, there's no more Popeyes, there's no more like whatever Diamond's team for the boys.
Yeah,
It wasn't trying out this season. So, like,
yeah, that too.
A bit more of a free ticket to finals, and then anything can happen that 1 week. But fortunately, it fell our way this time.
I mean, last season you did have like a lot of those teams. I guess Popeyes was on its way out, and Hyper Horizon was too. But
Hyper Horizon wasn't there last season.
No, yeah, Hyper Horizon has been around for a few seasons now.
Yeah, it's felt like the main big competitors were Brushy Tuna and For the Boys the last few seasons, and For the Boys missed playoffs this season, and we faced Brushy Tuna in the finals, and they were definitely our hardest match. So there wasn't too many hurdles to overcome.
Yeah,
it worked out.
Yeah, XD did give us a run for our money. Took Landy and Ego clutching.
Actually, that's very true.
Games.
Yeah, I was gonna say your semis match is super close.
Yeah, they played well too.
Yeah, XD was a really good team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, speaking of which, are there any other teams that you're, like, other than XD, that you might be a bit scared to face?
I mean, For the Boys had a really, really good team. They just had a rough season with teammates having to drop out.
Yeah.
Subbing.
I'm not sure it'll happen again, but if a heat shock, if a Shed Ape meta ever happens again, and you're getting hard countered by quad old god lineups, oh no, I don't want to face that team.
That is true.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that season
was. They were a menace when they won.
There's nothing scarier submitting decks than going up against like Heat Shock or Valtus when you know they're motivated and you've been seeing on client that they've just been battling each other for the past 6 hours and you have no fucking idea. You're about to see cards that they submitted that you did not know existed in the game.
No, yeah, that's definitely true.
And you're trying to hedge and not submit anything that would be predictable or like that targetable, but they know that and they can predict that, and then they're gonna predict the thing that you're gonna pivot to, and they always get you.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They haven't been trying quite as hard the past few seasons.
And forbid that you decide, well, maybe I could just roll over. They have something for that too. That's the worst.
You cannot roll over into them.
No.
They have 2 lineups built every time. They're like coming down to the wire. I think there was one time literally against Super Chicken or something. He submitted with like 1 minute left, so they sent their lineup that was good into the rollover. So then they didn't have the counter lineup because Chicken submitted.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
They metaing them. That's crazy. I mean, yeah, that I remember that team has really Like, it was kind of fun when they were doing well, at least, like, from the outside perspective. I know it must have been, like Justin said, a nightmare to try and prep against, like, but, I don't know, I
Just pure, raw, primal fear. Like, they may not have always been the best team, but any given week, they're the team I least wanted to face.
It was
Rationally or
yeah.
irrationally.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, I don't really
Not
have...
only would you sometimes lose, but you would lose to cards you
Didn't
did not
know.
you did not know existed.
Yeah.
Or you start breaking out random.org for your deck submission, not even for Q order or bans, just for deck submission.
True.
I literally
more
did that one
likely to
time. I
win.
flipped a coin from the last 2 decks I was gonna bring because I just had no clue what was going on.
Yeah. Gosh.
Ticketus log.
I
the
miss
classic.
I miss when I miss having too much classes to pick from. Like, the season was like, what fourth class am I bringing? Because I don't play pro. It's like what's the fourth? And obviously when Justin mentioning, like, he lended towards shaman, while I know for me personally, I tend to go towards mage for my fourth, with hunter, priest, and warlock. Like, yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I think this period, like the last few weeks, especially like after the hunter nerf, everybody was just on priest warlock. Like every
Yeah.
lineup was like priest warlock and 2 other things, whatever
Mhm.
the other 2 things are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Pretty
hoping,
much.
especially with another class being added, I'm excited to see, like, in an obviously a 6, obviously going into a 6-set meta, things tend to be a little crazy in 6-set metas. So I guess it'll be interesting to see what March of the Lich King will bring for us. And what teams we'll be seeing coming into next season. I don't think we have that much more to... I don't have any questions personally left to ask. If Dream, if you have anything that comes to the top of your mind, you can go ahead and ask. But otherwise, we can start wrapping up here.
Yeah, I mean, is anyone? I know in the hero interview, there were quite a few people who were Death Knight mains. Does anyone care about the lore of Death Knights, or is this just going to be a pure gaming perspective?
I care about it Hearthstone lore-wise. I didn't play Warcraft, but, like, Knights of the Frozen Throne was one of my favorite expansions, and, like, Death Knights
Wait.
and Lich King was super sick, so that should be
What
cool.
what even is Hearthstone lore? Did we ever find out who murdered Sire Denathrius?
Yes, Sylvanas.
No, I
But
thought
if
he
Oh,
it's
did.
Renethil killed Denathrius.
How
I
do we
thought
know
in
that?
the lore.
died. Didn't they announce that?
The lore is that...
I was expecting like a single player adventure or something like that
So
to like walk you through it.
So the
And
actual...
then there's a trial.
Mhm.
Why was Sylvanas on trial? Was she found guilty? I
Yeah.
didn't get what was going on.
So the actual lore of like the Shadowlands of Revan, of like where we are, with this set at Nathria, like, so in Warcraft, I believe Renethil kills Sire Denathrius in the game, but for the murder mystery thing they did for Hearthstone, Sylvanas was the one that was found guilty.
Couldn't Renethil kill Cyrus? Just a 3/4.
It's a little bit different when they're actually just people in the Shadowlands.
Isn't it inverse, Justin?
So Justin, Renethal baited Sire to be played and then countered him.
Yeah.
Thinking?
Oh, he played objection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, objection. True.
I was thinking he had
Did I
like
get
a
it
really
wrong?
good lawyer, just Eterniate mod, gave him immune over several turns, wore down Sire, but
Yeah,
I
Death Knight should
love
be cool.
lore.
me too.
I can tell.
Yeah, I'm a bit of I really, really enjoy a lot of the lore,
Remember that time Reno Jackson
aspects.
was a dragon?
Reno being
Remember
a
that
dragon?
time Reno Jackson was a dragon?
Yeah, that became lore. Yeah.
I do. I
Yeah.
was expecting more follow up. Like, yeah, he's a dragon now. Like,
But then they haven't done anything else with
yeah.
the League of Explorers since Galakrond's Awakening. So maybe they'll come back with something at a later time.
I have it on good authority that the first expansion next year will be called Operation Dragon.
Maybe.
Sure.
They might.
You're
They
not
might
supposed
want
to leak that.
All right. Okay, it seems like we're kind of wrapping up and winding down. I'll
Yeah. Any final shout outs that the team has for really anything?
Shout out to Nails.
True.
True.
Nails did play a lot of the season and did well, but
Mhm.
just wasn't enjoying Hearthstone anymore, so decided to step back. And big thanks to Ego for stepping in and deciding not to lose a single match.
Of course.
But yeah, team was great. We definitely prepped a lot more in playoffs than regular season. We kind of just glided through regular season by bringing good decks and playing well, and then playoffs we put a bit more thought into it, I'd say.
Yeah, I think for me, this season, because I was on, I think, I was on like a different team before this season. I was with what's that called?
Popeyes.
Popeyes. Yeah, I was with Popeyes. Yes. So this season, Neji got me on board. Yeah, I was. I mean, obviously, because we won right this season, so it always feels better. But I enjoyed my entire time in THL, like even in the past and like now. But this season, I think I put in a bit extra effort personally as well. Like it's just like when the fact that we hit playoffs like kicked in, I was just like, whoa, okay, kind of really want to win this even more now. So like Neji mentioned, in playoffs we actually were a bit more quite active in discussing lineups and stuff like that. Like I mean, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure most of us settled on like what we just like to play, which worked out. But the whole preparation process, especially during the playoff period, was really quite enjoyable. And yeah, I am looking forward to next season for sure.
Yeah, dang. Well said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very well said. All right. Anyone else? Before we go ahead and close.
Nothing for me. Enjoyable season, especially since I didn't only had to play 3 weeks and happened to win all three. So,
I guess yeah, I echo what they said as well about Niels. He was one of, I guess he was one of he and Neji, I guess, the ones that invited me last season, and I definitely wanted to play 2 seasons ago, but they got other players at that time. But yeah, Niels was one of the reason how I got better at the game in the past like 6 months or 1 year. So a bit sad to see him leave. But yeah, it
Rip
happens, right?
Nails. Gone but
People
not
get
forgotten.
people
Forever in our
get burnt out
hearts. You will
really
be missed.
easily. Yeah, definitely we miss. Yeah, but yeah, I hope that we made him proud by winning it again.
Started GoFundMe for his funeral.
Nice. Yeah. But thank you everybody for coming on the show. Thank you Geranium for hosting with me. We have one more one more finals to go, and that one's gonna take a bit longer because we have a week extension because Knights of the Frozen, they decided to drop Knights of the Frozen Throne on us in standard, which is absolutely awesome. It's pretty exciting. But we'll have to
Is
see.
the week extension confirmed? Sorry.
Yeah, it's confirmed.
Okay.
I wouldn't know. I would not
missed
have. Yeah. It was put in the official THL announcements. I'm sure that Diamond and Chicken have made their teams aware of that, and so we'll see how things play out in the next week and a half, and we'll have a legacy champion at the end of it. So yeah, good luck to everyone. Neji, you are participating, so good luck to you.
Thank you.
Everyone else, have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you for the next episode of Hearthcenter or Match Show. And And until then, stay safe, and we'll see everyone later.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you for having
guys
us.
for having us.
Thank you for coming.
All right, see ya. Yeah, thanks. We're muted. That was a good one, yeah.